So with that, we'll welcome back Mark Krag to talk about Papua New Guinea. We had a few technical difficulties back in the beginning of the year when he was originally supposed to present, but fortunately a new laptop that he has now should make this work out well. So with that, we'd like to welcome our awesome club member, Mark, to present.
Hi, thanks for having me. And I guess I'll go ahead and hit the share screen. And so it'll show the images. Oh, why did it? Oh, there, that's better. Well, the was back in May 2019. We were took a trip with 9 people on the liveaboard the Taka. We to get there we had to fly Qantas to we had to fly Brisbane and then back up to Port Moresby, and then we started the trip in Rabaul, and I outlined with a red line. You can see where the liveaboard was there. So a little more detail here. It was a 2-part trip. The first part was about 12 days, I think, and took us to Munda, and then 3 of us, Linda Rossinger and Bob, he and I continued on to Honiera over here. We had a day or 2 before the trip, so we saw some of the countryside from this hill. And we went to this volcanic area that had eruptions back in 2014. There was one, and in 1994 there was one that nearly destroyed Rabaul, and 30,000 people had to be evacuated. This is part of the volcanic area. The Rabaul caldera was called. There's some of the friendly natives. This is the boat that we were on. It's a 30 meter length called the Taka. And the cruise directors were really great. They were Adam and Carmen Beard. And that's Carmen there. And there's one of the little islands along the way. It's Carmen again. So there were a lot of little inlets along the shore you could swim through. So volcanic, of course. There's Carmen again. This is Lupa as a dive trainer. I mean, she was a trainee to be a dive guide. She was my dive buddy for the first couple days. And there was a lot of really beautiful coral growth, as you can see. It was, I was trying to capture it with, I was using a Sigma 15 millimeter. And I really wish I had brighter strobes to get the whole area a little better. A lot of beautiful sea fans. There's Linda and the red Gorgonian, or pink. This was a fishing boat that sunk, and it was leaning against a coral wall, reef wall, just sitting up like that. You can swim around the whole thing. It's another really nice coral. Had a lot of beautiful coral, which was nice to see. There's a turtle with a hawksbill, I think. There's a cuttlefish. There's always some of those. There's a pink anemone fish. There's some damselfish eggs close up. This is one of those little tiny little flecks, little orange flecks. I try to get as close as I can get to them. Here's some of those purple yellow basslets. They resemble the royal grammas a lot. This is a spindle cowrie. This is some really some tunicates, really golden color. So really interesting to get. There's one of the dart, what do you call it, dart blenny or something. Forget the name of that. Well, these are some gobies. They live in the coral, and they're hard to spot. Carmen was showing me. You'll just see a flash of red, and then it'll be gone. You have to keep looking and photographing to get them. Here, that's my best shot of one of them. It's the first time I've seen them. And this is a squat lobster. It's only about 3/8 of an inch long. Its claws here and its body down here. They're really hard to spot. There's a nudibranch. Bunch of cardinals, I think. This is a really skittish fish. It's really hard to photograph, and this is actually heavily cropped to get it even to that size. I'm not sure what they are, what kind of fish they are. There's a wrasse. These are some of the purple anthias. They're real colorful. There's another one. Some more of the really nice coral. It would have been nice to have a powerful strobe to get the upper area lit up a little better. Another one of those basslets. Blenny. Forceps butterfly. Spine cheek anemone, of course. Another one of those. Those are all over. Some jelly.
Hawkfish.
Oh, yeah, long-nosed hawkfish. Yeah. Here's a soft coral. Close up. Shrimp. There's a real soft coral. And this is the sum up of the first half of the trip. We were doing 4 dives a day, some of the days. There's some more. A lot of crinoids, of course. There's a pink-eyed goby. There's one of the little shore houses along the shore. Some of the kids. This is the Skull Island near Gizo. This was near the area where President Kennedy had that PT boat that got destroyed, and they had to get shelter on an island. There's these skulls were from generations back. This is I forgot his name. He was part of the crew, and they're showing us around. He's got a Triton shell there. He's blowing. Got some close-ups of the skulls. There's that shore. And this is the museum, World War II museum in Munda. The guys have been collecting that stuff for years. And this is a sunset where the dinghies were dragged from behind, of course. This was actually the end of the people that were in the first half of the trip. But that's my last picture. That's all I have.
That was some cool stuff. What, I guess, shit, I just lost my question. If other people have questions, feel free to go ahead while I try to remember what mine was.
That museum, I don't remember going to that. Was I not part of that tour, Mark?
Which one? With the
With
skulls?
all the no, with all the
Oh
the
yeah,
canteens and the ammo.
yeah. No, just Bob and Holly and I saw it
Oh, okay.
when we had that day. We were hanging around that resort in Munda. I guess that's when it was.
Oh, okay. Looks like it was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
So
a
do
neat
they-
trip. It was a fun
they-
trip.
Do they sell any of those
Oh,
war items, or is just for show?
I think it was just for show. I don't remember asking them about that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't see any price tags on any of the stuff, so.
John and I actually got a couple of dog tags on Guadalcanal. They sold us a couple of dog tags, and I brought mine back. I tried to get a hold to see if there were any family members I could locate and, and give it to them, but I didn't have any luck finding any family members. I did find some distant relative, but she never responded to my calls. So yeah, they sell them sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was kind of the flight to get there was kind of a hassle because we had to fly to Brisbane, Australia to get there. And then on the return, we had to fly to Brisbane and then all the way down to Melbourne. And the whole flights were pretty rushed. They had to give us an escort through the airport to get onto the plane on time.
Oh, geez.
That was a little bit.
So how was the boat and the crew?
Well, the crew were really good. That boat, I can't say I liked that boat that much, though. It was so noisy.
Hmm.
It was a noisy boat. The anchor and the compressor or something, but there were like
You were
three
down
different things.
below deck, so it was probably a lot louder for you below decks, where I was above, I think.
Yeah, but I remember it was noisy even in the dining room area
Oh, okay.
too.
I remember that one time I came up for dinner and nobody was there for dinner, and I'm like, what's up? And apparently the boat was rocking so much that nobody had an appetite. And
Hey, I was there.
yeah, I know. A couple of diehards were there that weren't seasick. And we helped, save the sliding chicken fillets from going on the floor. And it was pretty rough that day.
Yeah,
But the dive directors were excellent, especially Carmen had just a wealth of knowledge about clownfish. In fact, she gave us a mini class and gave out a bottle of wine for clownfish identification. Apparently if I remember correctly, there's like 12 species of clownfish in the area, or they have there's 12 that exist in the world and they have like 9 of them right there. Did I get that right? Or something to that effect? So she gave us an ID course. And I seem to remember Bob won that one.
Yeah.
It was a bottle of champagne.
Oh, okay. And that was kind of fun because I did learn something and you know, it's something she didn't have to do. She just made it more interesting for us.
Yeah.
And she would ID any fish we wanted to know. She'd sit down side by side with you on your computer and go through all the pictures and ID every one of them if you wanted, you know, IDs. So she went, you know, way out of her way to make sure you were happy with your pictures and knew what you got. And then there was Holly who flooded her Apple computer, and the other dive guide took it apart and cleaned it up so she could use it again.
She flooded her computer?
Well,
Yeah,
she
Patty.
dumped coffee on it.
Oh,
Well, that's what I meant. She flooded it with coffee.
I'm like, I was trying to put 2 and 2 together. It's like, you don't usually use Apple computers as a dive computer.
Yeah.
So she's talking about a laptop.
Yeah, laptop. And
That
he
was
revived
Patty,
it
actually.
enough.
Yeah.
He revived it enough so she could use the hard drive again, but he said, the next stop you make, buy a new computer.
Matter of fact, it turned out she was lucky. The dive
Yeah.
guide, Adam, his previous job was an Apple computer tech. So
Oh,
she was in good hands.
But he said, don't tell anybody. Yeah, they were both excellent.
Yeah. I think they're working in the Caribbean now.
Oh, are they? Hey,
Yeah.
Mark, didn't you sell your computer to them? I mean, sell your
Yeah, so
old.
I sold my D800 in housing to Adam. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he had me send it to Santa Lucia. They're on a resort there. I thought he was going to be staying in New Guinea because he was talking about getting a boat, his own boat there to run. I guess that changed of plan.
If I'm not mistaken, I remember Carmen saying her dad lived in Papua New Guinea somewhere.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, I just vaguely remember that.
Hmm.
It looks like
But
there were
yeah.
quite a few NCUPS members on this trip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Kathy Mendes kind of put it together and then let us make decisions about hotels and things.
she did the research.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
Mhm.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. If you haven't been there, it's a great place to go, especially the Solomons.
Yeah. You know, there's an easier way to get there, I think, just by going to Fiji and then to Honiera, and then you can sail upward to the Gizo area. At least you can, well, you can, I don't know if you can get to New Guinea that way, but up into the Solomons anyway.
And you flew into Australia, is that what you did?
Yeah. That's what we had to do.
I
That was
hadn't
the
been
easy
to
part.
Australia.
Yeah.
I was just gonna add, I hadn't been to Australia before, so I didn't mind staying there a day or two.
Certainly nice when the trip forces you to go somewhere else you haven't been yet.
Yep.
so were you in Sydney?
No, Brisbane.
Hmm.
Any other questions from people? Or even comments from other people that were on there? It looks like Linda and Bob Yee were both there. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, and oh,
Yeah.
And John, I forget his last name now. It starts with T.
Trone.
Bob, you know. No,
I know, I can't remember now.
Here he is here, John
Yes.
Shecker or something, or Threcker.
Thacker.
Thacker.
Oh,
That's it.
yeah.
Thakura. That's it.
Thacker, yeah.
Thatcher,
Yeah.
T, starts with a T.
Well, that's what I said.
Okay.
Um,
Also Patty Harris.
yeah, Patty was on.
Where is she in the picture?
I saw her.
Oh, okay.
She was the one who got the coffee on her computer. She was
Oh.
actually trying to show me some pictures and her coffee went over. So,
Mark, do you see her?
Well, here's Patty Harris
oh,
here.
there it is. There she is.
Where, wiggle your cursor more. Your cursor's really small. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Um,
Right next to Linda.
I have a question. When you went ashore or anywhere, did you do any beach dives or snorkeling from the beach?
No, I didn't. I don't know if anybody else did.
On, when I stayed on Guadalcanal, I did a couple of beach dives on the wrecks they had there. But it was really rough, and the dive shop was kind of sketchy. I didn't really get good vibes from it. Their boat was apparently out, and it was kind of rough getting in on the beach. It was like I had to do the monastery crawl on getting out the second time. So I didn't do any more beach diving than that, and that was when I kind of bagged it and decided to head for home. So, but I did do it was the Hirakawa Maru and the Kinagawa Maru. I did a couple of beach dives on them.
There probably is good shore diving here and there.
If it had been calmer, it would have been nice, but it was a little rougher than I like. I don't like really going through surf, so.
No.
Can you put up the route map again?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we started up here in Rabaul. This is part of New Guinea, these two islands. This is New Britain and this is New Ireland. And then started down the Solomon Islands, diving various places.
Which end was better, the north or the south end of the
You know,
trip?
that's interesting question, but I think there were, I don't know. Couldn't really say there was that.
I couldn't say either. You missed Pinnipel Island on there, though. We did
Which one?
Pinnipel, you remember, it's up north of kind of New Ireland, up go north. Hold on, where your cursor is, go up yeah, up north a little bit.
Further up.
To the east, no, other east.
West.
Oh, that's west.
There,
Yeah, kind of
right,
around.
right where
in
his
that-
cursor is now?
Yeah, it's kind of around in that area, and it was off the beaten track because the day boats wouldn't go there, and none of the other boats had it on their route. So we dived. Actually, it was pretty much. I think we were probably the first divers on there, and it was a gorgeous reef. It was drift. We drifted along quite a bit, but it was just really a lush reef with acres and acres and acres of coral. It's really beautiful.
Actually, our first dive there was on a tank, if I
Yeah, that was the
recall.
first time on
It
the
was a big
twin
tanker that we dove on, very first time.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
right off of right in that little pass between
Yeah.
New Ireland and New Britain.
That was our shipwreck, was a tank.
Yeah.
That doesn't really help. Doesn't give more detail. It shows the whole area. And Melbourne is even south of Sydney, down about here.
Were there any tourist resorts along that route that you took?
Yeah, there are some.
I know Munda had a resort.
Yeah,
Kathy
Yeah.
and Holly stayed there.
Uh-huh. And I
Remember
think
that?
there is, on the ski zone, there is also.
Wasn't much of a hotel though. It wasn't much of a place to stay though. I mean, it was pretty bleak.
Well,
pretty
no, I
deserted.
thought it was okay. It was just, remember, it was a bunch of rooms. Yeah, I mean, they had several buildings, and then you had to walk to the rooms. I mean, they had a kind of a outdoor cafe, but that was pretty rustic.
The whole place was
remember.
rustic. There's a bunch of people's shops. It's the only place I know you could walk directly from the hotel to the airport. It's that close.
yeah.
It's pretty small.
How were the mosquitoes?
Well, I don't remember any.
It wasn't noticeable at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
I never
remember.
got a
any.
bite. I was really paranoid about it, but I never got a single bite myself.
Do they have, oh, what's the mosquito-borne disease?
Malaria.
Malaria there?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. We took a bunch of, at least I took a bunch of drugs for it. I never had to worry about it, luckily.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, Adam, the cruise director, had gotten malaria. And it would show up in bouts once in a while. He'd be okay, and then he'd feel some symptoms.
Yeah, he missed like a day of diving, didn't he, because of it?
Yeah.
We missed a couple of days, as I recall.
Yeah, I didn't think it could really come back like that and haunt you.
Scott's dad got it in World War II I think in Papua New Guinea. And Scott, as a child, remembered his bouts of it, and it caused him to have nightmares or something, and he would act out, and it was just crazy. And he's like, he wouldn't go anywhere near any place that had malaria because of that. It was like his entire childhood, he had this dad that would have these bouts with it.
Yeah.
Did you do a night dive?
Yeah. Yeah, we did some night dives.
I only remember one.
Yeah, I only did one.
Maybe it was just one. I forget now.
What did you see at night that wasn't around during the day?
I don't recall.
Well, there are different creatures that come out a little more at night sometimes. So it can be worthwhile in doing that.
Well, what happens at night dive is we were all sent from mackerel, and we just saw a bunch of wobbegong sharks. So that's how it usually works out. So what you need there is wide angle lens for night dives.
Mhm.
Did you see any seals, turtles, or dolphins?
I don't recall. I don't think so. Turtles, maybe.
We saw some dolphins and before the trip, when we had some time hanging around the resort, we got on a little boat, and dolphins showed up and swam along the side.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we snorkeled. Actually, we were more like dragged alongside of the boat, trying to
Yeah.
take pictures at the same time.
Yeah. There were,
Quite challenging.
yeah.
That looks pretty remote, like it might not be a marine reserve. Did the crew spear fish for dinner?
Yeah, we did have some fish, I think.
think they got some from the natives that came out one time. I think that was around Pinnipel or whatever. But we had a bunch of the natives got curious and came out and traded some fish for some rice or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of natives would come out and when we're anchored, would come out and dug out canoes to sell us wares, turkeys, art, fish, and food.
You know, there was one night that a crocodile was spotted in the water.
Hmm.
And it was an evening. They had, if you shine a light on it, you can see the eyes reflecting back.
Is that normal to see crocodiles around there, or was that kind of like a rare thing?
It's kind of rare, yeah.
Well,
There are
remember
some.
those swim, well, kind of that one swim through, and then you came up into like a kind of a sheltered cave area. And Carmen told us that there was once a crocodile in there resting on the land. Remember that story?
Yeah, I remember
He said, oh,
that.
there's no crocodiles here. And some guest on a prior trip said, well, what's that over there?
That's why I let you guys go first.
Right. Yeah, those swim throughs were pretty cool. There was one point where they took you to, you know, it kind of looked like a cenote where you just jumped in this deep water and then you went down underground and then you came out like 15 minutes later into this little cave area. And that was interesting in that when I looked at the depth on my computer, I was shocked to see it said 100 feet when we were under that, you know, basically the swim through.
You're in an overhead environment.
Cave. Yes, it was like a cave, except it was only 15 minutes and you came out on the other end.
Yeah, but you were at 100 feet.
I know.
That environment.
Yeah, but that surprised me.
It's
But it
deceptive.
was interesting.
It's deceptive because the water's so clear there. You actually see sun rays far down 100 feet deep, which is amazing.
Although in that little cave-like environment, you couldn't see sun rays, if I remember right.
Well, there were a lot of sun rays in a lot of these caves. I remember that.
Yeah.
How deep could you see the rays?
I don't know, pretty darn deep, I thought, because the water was so clear in some cases.
Where was it the most clear?
In the Solomons.
Yeah. Did you see any eels or rays or octopus?
I don't remember seeing any.
I remember seeing a couple eels, but rays I don't recall. I have to look at my photos, but I don't recall. Oh yeah, I remember. I saw a bunch of groupers and some eels. I think. Yeah. Out hunting.
Any other questions? If not, thank you, Mark. It was glad to finally get the technical difficulties worked out and see more about the Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands. So thank you for the presentation.